Over-the-counter markets are changing, and I think it's a sort of almost a tidal wave of change that's hitting these markets. They're becoming more like exchange-traded markets. That's the bottom line. One rule is that coming out of Dodd-Frank and seems to be being adopted by other countries as well as the US, is that whenever possible, trades must be executed on what are known as, in the US anyway, as swap execution facilities, SEFs. What that means is that it's not going to be the case that the Royal Bank just calls Citigroup and agrees to a trade, or maybe goes through an interdealer broker to agree a trade. Trades have got to be more transparent with this. The purpose of swap execution facilities is to make the whole thing more transparent. So what will happen is that there will have to be, if at all possible, a central facility where a number of different dealers, or number of different, shall we say, market participants can post bid and offer spreads for whatever deal we're talking about. Post bid and offer quotes, I should say, for whatever deal it is we're talking about. And then other market participants can trade off those bid and offer quotes. So basically, we've got to have more than many different market participants posting bid and offer quotes, and many different market participants being able to trade off those bid and offer quotes. Another change, more significant, is that all standardized transactions, with few exceptions, will be cleared centrally through these things called CCPs, central clearing parties. So basically, it's no longer going to be this bilateral clearing. Initial margins and variation margins will be required in much the same way as they're required on exchanges. So how will this central clearing work? Here's a very simple example. Let's take an OTC trade that might be agreed on one of these swap execution facilities. Right now it might be agreed, over the phone. It's a simple interest rate swap. One company is agreeing to pay the other company 5%, and then the second company is, in return, is agreeing to pay the first company LIBOR, and this would be on some notional principal, and payments would be made periodically up for a certain period of time. So it might be $100 million notional principal. Company A pays 5% every 6 months, at a rate of 5% per annum every 6 months to Company B on that notional principal, and Company B pays LIBOR to Company A. When we use a CCP, and as I say, this is a straightforward standard transaction, so there is a requirement that you use a CCP, and I may mention that that requirement is coming into force in just a little over 6 months at the end of this year. What happens is the CCP stands in the middle, so Company A is effectively doing a trade with the CCP, and it's paying 5% and receiving LIBOR, and Company B is doing the offsetting trade with the CCP, so it's receiving 5% and paying LIBOR. So the CCP is standing in the middle of the two companies. It's going to be saying to Company A, okay, we want a certain amount of initial margin, and then there's going to be variation margin as the value of the deal changes, and it's going to be saying the same thing to Company B.